I don't like waking up in the morning to have to see Vladimir Zelensky thanking the United States Senate for $63 billion. Watch this.
I thank Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Republican leader Mitch McConnell for their determination and morally strong choice. Democracy will surely prevail. I thank each of the 70 senators who voted in the affirmative. Ukraine appreciates it very much.
All right, I just have to say, to my crew, they know I absolutely love them, but they pick the most famous guy on TikTok or Instagram to be the voice of Vladimir Zelensky. It's freaking hilarious. Anyway, that, of course, was AI Translator, who, if you scroll through any of those, you will recognize that voice almost instantly. But thanking Mitch McConnell, thanking all of these senators, give me a break, Zelensky. All of us are tired of it. $63 billion. Now, yes, it has to go to the House. $63 billion. Do you know the United States Marine Corps has a budget of $53 billion? So what did Joe Biden do today? He engaged in fear-mongering.
Supporting this bill is standing up to Putin. Opposing it is playing into Putin's hands. As I've said before, the stakes in this fight extend far beyond Ukraine. If we don't stop Putin's appetite for power and control in Ukraine, he won't limit himself just to Ukraine.
Look, folks, I have always said from the very beginning, if you legitimately believe Vladimir Putin is going to go into NATO countries, then I understand why you want to support fighting him in Ukraine. But the reality to me is, and many of the experts I talk to, there is no way Vladimir Putin is going into a NATO country. Vladimir Putin doesn't want World War III. You see, he's nearly debilitated from fighting this war in Ukraine. So I'm under the premise that Vladimir Putin's not going anywhere but Ukraine, which is why I'm at the point where we don't have the money to be sending this country. So Joe Biden, if it's not good enough to fearmonger, say he's going to go take over our other allied nations, he says, well, maybe this is all about ammunition, and we can give Ukraine ammunition, and then Americans can pay American workers to make more ammunition.
And the way it works is we supply Ukraine with military equipment from our stockpiles, and then we spend our money replenishing those stockpiles so our military has access to them. Stockpiles that are made right here in America by American workers.
Sounds great. Except what Joe Biden didn't tell you is that Russia right now makes ammunition, including artillery shells and missiles, at a rate of 7 times what the United States and Europe makes combined. 7 to 1. So we're going to give Ukraine our ammunition, replenish our stockpiles that we're getting beat at a rate of 7 to 1. That doesn't make any sense. If you want to talk about national security, we should be amping up the ammunition production and hoarding it for our own United States military. Some U.S. senators do have some common sense through all of this. Senator Mike Lee, you got Senator Rand Paul, as well as Senator J.D. Vance from Ohio.
I mean, this is something out of every history book for how empires fail. Countries allow themselves to become eroded. They allow internal division to weaken their resolve. They allow economic might to degrade. And then, at the point when they're weakest, they overextend themselves militarily. That is where we are right now. We are at the weakest point in a generation.
Why are we so weak? One, we have a national security risk that calls himself President of the United States. Joe Biden is the greatest national security risk that we face. Look at what he has done to weaken us. Crime is through the roof. You can all tie this back to open border policies. They're weak on crime, coddle the criminal policies. Then you have inflation. New numbers out today. Inflation is going up. And what happened? The stock market crashed. The worst day since March of 2023. At one point down 700 points, the Dow Jones Industrial. All of this shows us we're weak. We can thank Joe Biden for it. Our enemies are clearly emboldened because of all of this. Why? For us giving billions of dollars now for one corrupt nation to fight another corrupt nation. And you know what that's going to do to us? It's going to make us even weaker. Here's Senator Rand Paul.
I think it threatens our vital national security to send more money to Ukraine. Why? Because I think it threatens the fiscal solvency of our country. I think it, along with so much of the rest of the spending, is dragging America down and threatening a day of destruction. I care about the bankrupting of America. I care about the looting of our treasury.
Amen to that. Senator Rand Paul spot on this. And let me be very clear about this. Just because I am against sending more money to Ukraine, especially with no checks and balances, and by the way, Rand Paul wanted to have a provision in here that would have provided some checks and balances. No, they want to write a blank check to Ukraine. But just because we are against that does not by any means mean that we are pro-Vladimir Putin or pro-Russia in any way, shape, or form. Vladimir Putin is an evil dictator. He is sly as a fox, yes, but he is fully willing to kill his political enemies. We see what he will do to expand the Soviet Union. This is a bad dude. But in the end, these are two corrupt nations in the most corrupt part of the world. America doesn't need any part in all of this anymore.